Oh my god, everyone has Japan selected in this game. This is glorious.
I was on the wrong civ for a bit on China, but I figured.
You're also playing in this tournament, correct?
I was playing in this tournament.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Just.
I am no longer in this tournament.
Are you ready?
Making sure the players are ready, and then we could go.
So I mentioned we're just going to do a lag test really quick because I have some issues with.
Oh yeah, we might. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to set all my settings down to like low and stuff. But if it looks good from there, then I think we'll. Oh, and I have to install my UI too.
Prepared as always.
Well, alright. Yeah.
Oh, it's not a Japan mirror. Apparently, Knuschelbär has to play Dutch. Okay. Well, Dutch-Japan is still a nice matchup. Yeah.
It's a good one. Yeah. It's.
Why is allowed cheats turned on?
Because they're lag testing.
Yes. I guess.
it's actually a legitimate way to
Yeah, I guess you just spam a bunch of monster trucks or something and see if it causes the game to lag. Let's see who can win this cheats-enabled game. That's how you recognize an old game, by the way, when the multiplayer client still has the option to enable the cheats. Like, nowadays they don't even make cheat codes anymore. Which I think is actually kind of dumb. Like, cheat codes were awesome. It's like some of the best ways to have fun in video games. That doesn't mean I condone cheating in a multiplayer game. Just, you know, disclaimer, I don't approve of cheaters. Just, you know, it can be fun in a single-player game. So yeah, we can see the Japan player here going for the very standard 50,000 of every resource Ashigaru rush at 20 seconds. Knuschelbär countering with the slightly less resources. I'm not sure why he went for Great Buddha, considering he can use the cheat to see the entire map. There we see a bunch of non-veteran Naginatas when he's actually in Industrial. Probably should see some upgrades. Oh, there goes the Envoy. There we go. Guard Ashigarus has come in. There's Guard Naginatas. Let's just take a quick look at shipment sent. Not a single shipment has been sent yet, of course. We do have the 6 skirmishers against the 30 Naginata and 11 Ashigarus, with 3 Yumi from the Egypt with the Golden Pavilion, of course. I'm not sure why he aged with the Shugu Shrine, considering he has infinite resources. We see that Japan is actually getting housed a little bit here. Oh, and it does seem like
I'm going to try one more thing, and then, yeah.
Bit of lag. Dutch being a bit slow here, not even Imperial yet. Oh, we might have the first fight of the game here. Can these Ashigarus do some damage before they get picked off by the skirmishers? Oh, there's an Naginata though, and they will connect with the skirmishers here. Pavilion is still on range attack, despite having like 30 Naginatas. Oh, but there is the very dangerous veteran halberdiers from the Dutch player. This is such a bad way to lag test by spamming the game with a bunch of units. Oh, the first shipments of the game being sent here. Close combat, Ashi damage and Nagi HP. Okay, well,
it seems like the players are content.
Yeah, they seem to be willing to try. I mean, let's be real, these players have played Age of Empires 3 for years. Having 300 ping is basically a smooth game.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, that's pretty good for an Age of Empires 3 match. especially across a couple continents. Doing a couple more quick setups. Everything is.
Oh, I have to select pink, of course.
Good to go.
Oh, wait, what happened? Oh, was someone having yellow ping?
Yeah, it's probably me because I moved back to.
Wait, okay, they did remember to turn off allow cheats.
That's good. Yeah, I think that would be a good sneak move, right? Not that I condone this in any way, but yeah.
I think we would notice
A couple.
pretty quickly.
So if you know and your opponent doesn't, and then you just sneak in, 1,000 food, big game, late industrial, I think anybody would pick it up.
Yeah, if the game goes long enough, you might miss it, maybe. The thing is, though, like, the least noticeable cheat is like 500 of a resource or something, which is still pretty noticeable. I don't think it shows up in resources gathered, though, because it's not like a thing you actually gather, you just like gain it as a bank. So I'm not sure if it shows up in there. Extend the donation bar. Yeah, I've heard that as well. I literally can't edit this donation bar for some reason. I don't know what the problem is. Anyway, we do have Dutch against Japan here. Did you see the great start? It seems to be wood because Japan has 100 wood after building consulate.
Yep. So a quick check on the maps. Actually, Knuschelbär seems to be missing his. Oh wait, no, just kidding. Nope, never mind. Looks like the mines are. What Jerimuno has a mine at the top, but Knuschelbär has 2 on his.
On his flanks, yeah, or on his front, yeah.
Okay, looks reasonable. Yeah, this is the. I'm going to say the round of 16 of the tournament right now of the Grand Tour Season 2, tournament number 3.
What a title!
Yes, and this was interesting because this is one of the non-team maps, so the players have to choose 3 different civs, and this is the 3rd civ that they would have been choosing. And because it's a non-TP map, you can see how the players maybe sort of made their selections. You see Knuschelbär went for the Dutch. The civ actually I picked myself for this map. Jerimuno also picked Japan, another civ that doesn't really need a trading post to be able to do well.
Yeah, I saw a lot of Japan's, Dutch's, that sort of civs indeed in the Civ 3 pick for many people.
I'm interested. I know Japan was very popular. I think kind of just along the entire set of maps. It seemed like all 3 maps that were in the round of 64 to round of 16 were good for Japan. So you saw a lot of Japan on map 2.
The third civ pick in the next round is Cascade Range, by the way, another pretty good map for Japan.
Yeah.
Not sure how good it is for Dutch, but I would imagine it's pretty decent for them as well.
Both civs are I think, fairly content to play on no TP maps, as they don't really need it, and so many of their opposing civs do benefit from a trading post. Especially, I think, with Japan, a lot of the civs that you are kind of can be uncomfortable playing against, maybe you say France or Germany, civs that can kind of slow push you with fortress timing. They often benefit from being in H3 and having a trading post with it. And so when you're playing against somebody who can't make a trading post because there are no trading posts on the map, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable.
I do see that Jerimuno was able to steal the wood treasure here from Knuschelbär, and going for the standard Heavenly Kami Japan build. You know, we've seen it forever. We do see that
makes
he
sense.
made both his shrines in the same position though, which sometimes is a bit awkward. Especially against Dutch, which could do something like a pike semi-fast fortress, where they just like use the pike to siege down some shrines.
Yeah, that's an opportunity for Knuschelbär if he wants to come in here and do something. It is an interesting decision. I'm not 100% sure what prompted it. Possibly just the treasure, but yeah, you do tend to see Japan players try to spread out, put one shrine per hunt early on in the game, and only later on do they go for that second half of the hunt. It just gives you a lot more scouting information, prevents your opponent from coming at you with some pikes. We can see Jerimuno is actually starting to shrine up even further on the Knuschelbär side of the map. This can be very frustrating if you're playing, I guess, a civ that isn't Japan, because they start shrining up all of your hunts, and it becomes, oh, actually, sorry, no, this is Jerimuno's side of the map.
I think the reason is also, against Dutch, you to some extent want to keep your explorers a bit close together, because they do have that extra A1 unit, which means you can be forced to poof one of your explorers, which ideally you avoid, of course.
Speaking of this extra H1 unit, though, Jerimuno got a bit of damage down on this envoy. It's sitting at now 58 hit points. Still looking to maybe do some harass, or at least do some scouting.
And one monk
what's
is
going
forced
on.
to poof here.
Looks like the other one is maybe poofing as well himself. He's going for the shrine first, now fighting the envoy. The envoy probably doesn't win this yet.
We might actually get a divine strike here.
It's true, yeah. Maybe it won't even matter. This looks like 8 damage a shot means that this envoy...
there's the
Oh,
divine
okay, there
strike.
it is. Yeah.
Anyway, Tushugu age up, of course, for Japan, very standard. I'm going to assume Dutch age with wood. Of course he did. Let's see.
Pretty
2 buffaloes
typical
versus
build.
4. Yeah, Dutch actually got the win in the water buffalo department.
That'll have some effect as the game goes late. It is nice when Japan can pick up a few of them, just to have some close in-base shrines that are producing a lot of resources for them.
It also allows you to build your Tushugu a bit more defensively, so it can't get sieged as easily. I think he might be unlucky actually, and these elephants might not get attracted to the Tushugu.
That's true. It looks like they're just standing around waiting for another shrine to come up around them. Base though, I see one bank already up, another bank coming up now, and a barracks, indicating that he's maybe going to be putting down some pikemen. Yeah, we can see a few pikemen in queue, and going to be putting some damage down on these shrines, keeping their numbers within reason, so that if Knuschelbär goes into age 3, he's not going to be too far behind economically. Also going for this this remaining monk doesn't actually get it, and the shrine does go up, although it will shortly be going down from these pikemen.
Yeah, that's not going to stay up very long.
See if he goes for another batch. It looks like so far he's opting not to go for that second batch of pikemen, just content to sit on 5. Probably going to be working on some more banks going up to age 3.
If you make too many pikemen, then Japan just gets like 5 Ashigarus and kills all of them.
If we look at, I guess, what Jerimuno is doing in response, he doesn't seem to mind too much. He's going for the pretty typical 600 wood, 4 villagers, did a market in transition, getting a stable up now with a barracks up currently, starting with that Ashigaru in production. We'll see if he gets a full batch of 5 out.
Oh, adding a stable actually.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision. It's an indicator that he is going to be going for like an age 2 style of play against Knuschelbär.
Usually you wait until the Japanese consulate to get the military rickshaw to add your stable. But I suppose you could also just build it. I mean, it's definitely an option. You can then save the military rickshaw for like a second barracks or even a second stable if you want to go really heavy on the cav.
He did get those 5 batch of Ashigaru. Finds the Explorer, probably just going to continue on, try to get these pikemen. The Explorer's trying to do a snare, although they have equal amounts of speed, and so it might not actually catch.
And we do see 2 more banks added by Dutch here. On 4 banks. Now 5 is the limit, right? Currently?
Yes, I think currently yes.
Until he ships the, what is it, the Bank of Amsterdam, the Bank of Rotterdam, or both.
Generally, I think that players are not enthusiastic about shipping those at all, or even including them in their deck.
Oh, he has both of them in the deck.
Really? Okay.
And he also has Advanced Church, so he could go for the 8 bank boom.
I think most Dutch players just try to win before that becomes relevant, because the expense of sending a shipment just to be able to be allowed to make 4 villagers, not even to have those 4 villagers from the bank.
Well, he's on full 5 banks now. After shipping the bank wagon.
Good timing actually coming out from Jerimuno here. He got the Ashi onto the pikes, and now coming in with 4 Nagis, just in time for the skirmishers to be
even best Jeros. Yeah,
great timing here from Jerimuno, and Knuschelbär doesn't look like he's prepared. He's just getting his walls up right now, but they're not going to be up in time. And now Jerimuno's into the base, and he's going to be putting down some harass. Doesn't quite get a villager. I guess this Jeros doesn't.
One died who was building the wall. He does have to be a bit careful about these water buffaloes. If he strays them a bit too far away from buildings, Japan might be able to steal 1 or 2.
Actually, just going to kill them right now. He is going into Age 3, and he's going to have a shipment when he does it.
Japan is going to follow up to Age 3, though. But obviously, Dutch has the fast Age of Politicians, so he will be quite far behind in the fortress timing. But all this time, he is able to reshrine the map again.
I'm actually really liking what Jerimuno did here. I think often with Japan, if you're going for some sort of play that puts you in Age 3 and you don't make any military units, you're giving your opponent free reign over the map to clear out all of your shrines. He's getting to Age 3, not quite at the same time as Knuschelbär, but he's still getting to Age 3 relatively quickly. But he got a few kills of units. He cleaned out the skirmishers and the pikes. He saved most of his shrines. He's sitting at 170 shrine pop, which is very nice. Even getting a few villagers, which is great when you're Japan, right? I mean, we're 49 to 39 right now.
Yeah, his marksman rates are quite reasonable as well, actually. He's only really missing Imperial Bureaucracy. Although currently he's only getting 2 resources, so he should probably go for the tier 2 gold instead of Imperial Bureaucracy until he also starts chopping wood.
Knuschelbär hit Age 3. He's got 1 shipment on the way right now and another that he just started. Getting his stable up as well. Jerimuno, he sent a fairly early second shipment of, or I guess his first shipment of the 2 cherry orchards. A little bit earlier than...
1,000 food left, so...
Oh, where's his berries? Did he already eat them?
Yeah, he has this one left, and that's it.
Okay, interesting. Okay, maybe he is.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, right. Yeah, they only spawned with 2 berry bushes, so.
Okay.
Basically, Japan was 3,000 food behind.
Yeah. Okay. I guess it makes sense.
Look at units in queue.
Oh, interesting. So halberdiers and the Yabusami. Those are.
Oh, I didn't even notice the halberdiers yet. I just noticed the Yabusami, but indeed there's halberdiers as well. Oh my god.
Very interesting. Yeah, not units that you really don't expect out of either civilization that much, but units that are always very exciting to see.
Since people might not actually be familiar with these Yabusami, I mean, I'm sure everyone knows what halberdiers are, but the Yabusami are, like, technically speaking, they're a dragoon unit, but they're not really. They have quite low HP. But they have a lot of ranged resist, I believe 50% range resist. And they also have a much, much longer range than normal dragoons. And what this means is that basically the Yabusami is more of a culverin than a dragoon. In, like, the term of what role it provides for the army. It's like a very mobile, weaker culverin. It does pretty bad against cavalry, even though it's technically speaking a dragoon unit. But against cannons, it does really well. And because of it being a more Dragoon-esque type unit, they are way more mobile than a culverin. So they can do sneaky stuff like flanking around the army and sniping culverins or falconets, basically from out of nowhere. And if you put them in melee, they do tons of damage to cannons, like absolutely monstrous amounts. Obviously, they are then way more exposed than usual. Let's see if we can take a look at their
really
stats.
interesting because Knuschelbär made an artillery foundry,
Yeah.
expecting to go for some sort of falconets. I'm going to assume.
But look at how
Doesn't have
many
any AP
Yabusame
right
there
now,
are.
but- yeah. And one of the reasons that or cannons tend to be very strong against Japan because flaming arrows often don't quite cut it. They go for very infantry-heavy balls like Yumiashi. It can be very difficult as Japan to kind of get out of a slow push of cannons coming in. But Yabusame really changes that equation and goes with the stats here, right? 11 range attack base, which isn't very high, but then you have an 8x multiplier against cannons.
They have that 8x multiplier in melee as well, I believe.
Oh, really? Yeah. It's like you often don't even need to go into melee because it's just you're standing from 18 units away.
Yeah, they outrange actual dragoons, and let's take a look at skirms. Yeah, they have slightly less range than skirms. But if you use their mobility well, you can totally outmaneuver skirms to get behind the cannons. Did we even see cannons come out of that artillery foundry? I don't think we did. He probably saw the Yabusame or something and was like, "Welp, I guess there goes that plan."
Well, actually, we have one cannon in queue now, so I'm
never
sure
mind. Maybe he hasn't scouted it yet then.
Yeah.
If he saw those Yabusame, 100% he doesn't go for falconets.
Be very interesting. I don't know if Jerimuno knows himself about the artillery foundry and the fact that there are cannons coming on the way, because we see that he sort of stopped Yabusame production, and 10 is probably enough, but maybe an extra 5 would be helpful here.
They are not really dragoons, like I said. They are a specialty unit. They are made just to deal with cannons, so you don't want too many of these. And you also just don't want to lose them because they are quite expensive, going for 60 food and 150 coin. And ideally you want spread these up in smaller groups, and just try to get in a position with one of those groups to just kill all the opposing cannons, and then just get them really far away from the fight. They still have a small multiplier against cavalry due to being technically a dragoon unit. So you can have them actually on the back line as an additional DPS.
And one of them just immediately goes down. Another one is about to go down and not as quickly. So
yeah, and now you want to pull these Yabusame away. You want to get them out of the fight as quickly as possible.
They still have a bit of use against the cavalry.
Oh, Knuschelbär is just GG's. Okay.
I think regardless, though, Knuschelbär was not ready for that. The cannons were caught out of position and just immediately fell apart. And Yabusame, you can see from the avatar that I'm a big fan of them.
Yes.
And I was not seeing it coming. I don't think Knuschelbär was seeing it coming either. And Jerimuno takes this game pretty handily.
Oh, and against Dutch in particular, actually, they perform pretty well in Dragoon Wars as well, because Reuters are just bad. They have slightly less than double the HP, but they have way more than double the ranged resist, and also they outrange them, allowing a bigger ball of them to fight. I mean, still they are incredibly coin heavy, obviously, which is just annoying, but yeah, Yabusame are just a really fun unit. It's just you have to really protect them because they die quite quickly.
There's a lot of things going on with them that are very strange. They have 240 hit points, 50% range resist it's actually decent stats.
Yeah, specifically against ranged units. If cavalry ever connects with them, they are in massive trouble. But against melee units, they can tank pretty well. Against ranged units, I mean, yeah.
50 food, 150 gold. Is that correct?
60 food, 150 coin.
So they're very expensive to make. You can't really throw them away like you could throw away a couple of Yumi or even a few Nagi.